This is my Polygon Syncline C3 carbon fiber hardtail that I just got from BikesOnline. And today, we're going to be doing a first ride review and talk about why you might want a hardtail. Alright, I'm excited to see what color this is, and this is actually my first carbon fiber bike, so this ought to be good. Alright, ooh, that's a nice color. So the first thing you're going to do when you get a new bike is get it up on the stand so you can get it all pulled apart. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. Get the seat post out and get this bike on the stand. So once you got your seat post in, you're going to take the bike, put it up in the stand, clamp it down, and then you can start getting all the other pieces of cardboard off. So next up, we're gonna get the handlebars and front tire on and get this thing ready to ride. So I just got this bike from BikesOnline, and they're now supporting me in this channel. So you can check out this bike along with the new Colossus T8 and many others in the link in the description, and stay tuned because I will be doing a review video on that bike also. So we got the bike set up, suspension's dialed, fits good. And I am just super surprised on how lightweight this bike is. This thing is light. This thing's ready to rip. What's up everybody? Today I have my Polygon Syncline here. It's a carbon fiber hardtail that I got from BikesOnline. And today we're going to be answering the question, are hardtails fun and why did I buy one? And to do that, we're going to be testing it in all different kinds of environments like climbing, descending, and just overall flat single track. So let's start with descending. Alright, so let's start with a little flow trail. We're gonna cut off and go to another one called roller coaster, but drop the seat down because we don't have any dropper posts. It's been a while since I jumped on a hardtail. Let's get on to this longer one. This is a roller coaster, and it is a flow trail, so see how it feels. One thing with this, you can pump so much better. This bike is super lively and poppy, and now that we're done with our first descent, we're going to go over to do some technical climbing, and then we'll come back down and do some more flowy single track and talk about this bike's geometry and ride feel. So one thing with hardtails is that they excel in climbing, and so here behind me I have a super technical climb. This is something I do often and something that you need to be able to do, and so we're going to see if this thing can climb well. It needs to climb well for it to be a good hardtail. And so let's see if we can go up this climb right here. Alright, take one. This bike definitely checks the box for technical climbing. Super good at it. Polygon did a great job here. And this bike is super responsive. It's nice and stiff with this carbon frame, and so now we're gonna go all the way up the hill because this thing keeps going, and we're gonna follow someone. So my overall climbing experience on the Polygon Syncline was super pleasant, and this bike's geometry kept you in a nice seated upright position, perfect for climbing any technical climbs or even just mellow climbs, which is good to see in this XC bike. And I never felt like I had to lean over the front of the bike to get it to go anywhere. The front tire never felt like it was wandering, and I always felt like it was planted and ready to take whatever you threw at it. So once we head to the top of this, we're going to head down back over to Wild Hog Tracks, and that's about a mile of flat, curvy single track that we're going to do. And while we're there, we'll go over the bike's geometry and some of the ride feel and just overall performance of this bike. See if we can go over this log. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yes. So with this bike, I am clipped in. I prefer to clip in with hardtails because they're a little more bouncy, and that just keeps your feet locked in. But it's also a little more efficient, in my opinion. That's about it. We're at the top. We're gonna go down one more descent jump trail, then we're gonna go to some flat cross-country trail and single track. So one thing with this bike is it doesn't have a dropper post, and at first I thought that was going to be a big deal, but I have had no trouble with it. I just drop it down when we go on the descent trails. Pretty simple. And if you needed a dropper post for this bike, you could get a wireless one, but I personally don't see a need for a dropper post. I've been using this at my local cross-country team for the past couple days, and I haven't needed it. There's been no need for a dropper post. Sometimes the seat can get in your way, but it's been just fine how it is. So let's go on the next downhill and then head over to Wild Hog. All right, so we're going down Hobo again. We went down it a minute ago, but cut off early. This time we're going all the way to the bottom. And it has some pretty gnarly chunks down there, but see how this bike handles. Again, following my brother. Doing pretty good. Ooh. That wasn't that bad, actually. All right. It's pretty chunky down here. I popped several tires, so it would be easy on this bike because it still has tubes in it. But it's pretty good. I'm quite surprised at how well it handles. Alright, so we just got done with Hobo Hill, and now we're gonna head over to some single track trails. This is Wild Hogs. It's mostly flat turns, but it has some chunky sections, so we're gonna head over there real quick and see how we do there. All right, here's a little bit of it. Just tight single track. All right, coming out. Head over to the next section. Alright, so as we ride this cross-country trail, I'm going to go over some of the bike's geometry and ride feel. And so this bike comes with a 67-degree head tube angle, 435mm chainstays, and a reach in size XL of 470mm, and that felt quite comfy and kept the bike nice and nimble. And with this bike, it also comes with a 75-degree seat tube angle. Now, that might not feel very steep for some, but I can tell you personally that it never bothered me while climbing, and it actually felt much steeper than what it says on paper. So that was not a problem for me. I felt like it did just fine in climbing. I never felt like I was over the rear wheel too much, so that's good. And this bike also comes with a 120mm travel fork. It suited this bike well, and it paired good with the carbon fiber frame that was light and stiff, but also quite nimble. And along with that, we have 175mm cranks, and I prefer longer cranks for long rides, and it didn't feel like I had a lot of pedal strikes while climbing or descending, so that's nice to see. And overall on my ride with this bike, it felt quite nimble, playful, poppy, and it was super nice for pumping through flowy single track and flow trails, and it handled big hits quite nicely. I was thoroughly impressed with that. And so thanks to BikesOnline for supporting me. You can check this bike out along with many others in the link in the description. Helps support the channel and helps get the word out there. And so with that, I'm super pleased with this hardtail. Alright, so with that, this bike checks all the boxes for me. Super stoked to have this bike. Thank you to BikesOnline for supporting me. You can check them and this bike out in the link in the description along with many others. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. But, ooh, yeah. That corner is slippery.
Not on that one.